What's up, ladies and gentlemen? Renegade here, and no, you did not see the thumbnail nor the title incorrectly. I really did buy these motorcycle riding shoes from Wish for only 27 bucks. And before I get into it, no, Wish nor the company who actually manufactures these boots paid me for any of this. This is completely me. I didn't get these shoes for free. Nothing. I paid for them, the whole 9 yards. They know nothing about this. So, I can be completely honest. I ride a motorcycle and I know it's dangerous. And I like to have as much precaution as possible. Obviously, I wear a full face helmet all the time. I wear protective layers. I've got a riding jacket with an armor back, and, the one thing that I was kind of weak on was shoes. For the most part, I was wearing these military boots. They're heavy, they're big, they're clunky. And yes, I have a cat on my chair. Apparently she wants to be in the video. They're good boots for riding, but the problem I had was that they were only good, not great. And although they're steel-toed and they've got a high ankle, so there's a good amount of ankle support, it wasn't that much protection. I felt safe, but I knew I could feel safer. The other problem with them is that they were great when I was riding, and then I'd get wherever I was going, and they weren't very comfortable to walk in. They're big and they're clunky, so walking was a little bit more of a challenge. And yeah, I wasn't happy with that. Now, one thing I wanted to do for a while is I wanted to get an honest pair of riding boots for the extra caution. Because if I'm on the highway, like I took a trip down to Washington, D.C. on the motorcycle, I plan on doing it again. If I'm on that highway, I want to be ultra safe. So that's why I was wearing boots. Not wearing sneakers on a drive like that. And I wanted to wear better boots, ones that had real armor. Because I mean, these are steel-toed, but it's only so good. There's nothing on the sides or anything like that. So I wanted to get real riding boots. And I've tried on a couple pairs at stores, but the problem is they are so expensive. You're talking about multiple hundreds of dollars to buy a pair of boots that really are only going to serve one purpose. I can't justify that cost. I'm cheap. I'm poor. Okay, call it frugal, whatever. Same thing. I'm cheap. So, to warrant such a big cost, it's a bit much. Well, I've been on Wish for a while. I've gotten a bunch of different things from them. And one day I'm looking through, and a pair of riding boots shows up. Okay. They look nice. They're much cheaper, because it's Wish. You get the question of quality versus price. Well, the boots on Wish are still not totally cheap. I mean, we're talking like 80 bucks. I mean, it beats 300 for a pair of like Alpine Stars or whatever. But 80 bucks is still 80 bucks. So I was a little hesitant because I don't get to try these on. I don't get to see how they fit, see how they feel, nothing like that. Not big a fan of not doing that. So what I did, come Black Friday, they had a promotion, as they almost always do, and a big discount code. So I bought the same company their riding shoe. The boots I'm looking at are full-fledged boots. These are just their shoe. Now, with buying the shoe, I can see how the boots are going to feel, at least on my foot. Oh, my leg is going to be a different story. But there's a bunch of things in these. There's armor in here to keep your foot safe. So, how's it going to feel? So I bought them. I figured at $27 plus my discount from the discount code, be a good test. How do they actually fit? How do they perform? So I bought them, thinking, you know what? If I like them, great. I can look to buy the actual boots down the road. If I don't like them, I'm only out a little bit of money, given everything going on with this kind of thing. So timing worked out. So I got them. I've worn them around a bit. I bought them Black Friday. This is now April, but a bunch of the time was freezing cold and I couldn't be riding. So I've worn them around now for about a month, taking them out riding and walking around in them and etc. So I could actually give a proper review. First thing I should mention is they didn't come with laces. I put these on. When I got them, they were very sleek. They had this strap, which just ratchets in, and they had the Velcro strap, the closer. I have very narrow feet, so they didn't feel very tight on my foot. I prefer my shoes to be tight on my feet, at least snug. So I did have to get out an awl and punch holes in and put laces on. It really wasn't that big a deal, and you know, laces cost what, $2? Not that big a deal. And it didn't change the looks a whole lot. You know, it definitely makes things better in terms of the feel. So if you buy a pair of these, maybe you want to think about doing that. And unless they fit your foot perfectly fine. Maybe your foot isn't as narrow as mine is, you know? But my review obviously is going to involve how I feel with laces. They feel good. Put them on. The one thing I will mention now is this clasp doesn't feel super strong. I do worry a bit about longevity with this thing. It's just made of plastic. I mean, you can see it's kind of bendy, it's kind of flimsy. But just simple ratchet strap goes on. It's a little tricky getting it off though. You kind of have to use two hands. You got to push these down and pull the strap out. A little tricky. It took me a little bit to learn it, but then again, I haven't dealt with these type of closures and fasteners before, so what do I know? But once they're on, I mean, they feel on. They feel good and secure. Having this taller section up your ankle does give you a good amount of ankle support, and that's always good because I hate not having ankle support, especially with something like riding. If you plant your foot, you want to be steady. These give that, which is good. As I mentioned, there's armor in the toe, in the sides. This whole back, I mean, it's like impenetrable. In size, good armor plate here. There are these screws here. There are screws on the sides of this back piece and on this side piece here, this slider. These are removable, and when I got them, they sent me extras. I mean, they are sliders after all, so should you catch anything, you're going to wear this down, and you don't want to be without protection. These are replaceable. Just a couple Phillips head screws. It's really easy to replace them. The thing to notice, it does have these, this rubber plate here, which is to protect your boot from your shifter. It has them on both. Alright, the one on the right foot doesn't really do a whole lot, but I guess for aesthetics they didn't want you being uneven. The sole of the foot, or the sole of the shoe, is pretty sturdy. I mean, it's got some give. It's not completely rigid, but it's pretty sturdy, you know, which again is good for if you need to like put your foot down. You don't want it to be super squishy and have give and, you know, possibly just wear away like cheese, you know. So yeah, $27, not bad. Obviously, I had to take them out riding and test them. The best way to show you and talk about a riding boot while riding, or a riding shoe, is to show you while I'm riding. So, let's cut to that. Alright folks, so one of the things I was worried about when it comes to riding shoes is comfort. Obviously, you want your riding shoes to be comfortable when you're riding. That makes sense. But, what about the other side of it? Now, I came down here to Cape May, did a little riding, so put on my riding shoes, went out riding, whole 9 yards, stopped, got a cup of coffee, now I'm walking around a little. Still wearing my riding shoes, because if you notice, no book bag. Didn't want to bring a book bag. Didn't feel like it, just out riding. So that means I'm wearing my riding shoes. Now, this is something that happens a lot. You go out for a ride, you end up getting somewhere, you want to go for a walk. And if you're not wearing comfortable shoes, it becomes miserable. So of course, you want your shoes to be comfortable. You want your riding shoes to be comfortable. So that's one of the things I wanted to take into consideration. A riding shoe didn't do me any good. If it was only comfortable when riding, and then when I got where I was going, or I got somewhere and I decided to stop and walk around, it became no longer comfortable. That would just be foolish, you know? Luckily, these are very comfortable. I was concerned about the armor causing them to be stiff. You ever see the guys on bicycles? They're mostly guys, to be honest. I call them Lance Armstrong wannabes. Down here, you see them all the time. They're riding their, super spec racing bike, and they get to the Wawa or the convenience store if you're not from this side of the country, and they go inside to go get a cup of coffee or go whatever. Not only are they still wearing their helmet, which of course is ridiculous, and they're wearing their spandex, which is ridiculous and in some cases shouldn't be allowed. They're still wearing their riding shoes, so they're clicking all the way through. They're walking funny because obviously these shoes are not meant for walking in, they're meant for riding in. But they're walking uncomfortably, they're clicking. Look, that's not what I wanted. I wanted to get somewhere and be able to walk just like it was a normal shoe. So with the armor, I was worried about that. Because there's armor in these, and then the heel is pretty firm. It's a lot firmer than the shoes I normally wear. So I was worried about clicking. I'm not walking any differently than I normally do. And all I'm getting is a slight thunk, thunk, thunk. That's it. Right now, of course, it sounds louder because I'm walking on slate. Slate makes everything louder. Some shoes you can't walk on uneven terrain. Well, they become uncomfortable. It's pretty uneven. And actually walking on it, not that difficult. I wouldn't say these are the most shock resistant shoes in the world. They don't quite have as much soft cushiony padding as my sneakers do. Well, with the exception of Chuck Taylor's, because let's face it, they've got nothing. So I mean, you do feel a little bit, but overall it's still not bad. I've walked around in these for a couple hours, had no problem with them. One thing I should mention though is that when you're walking around, if you're like me and you still have the sliders on them, these plastic things on the side, they're pretty hard plastic, which means they're a little slick, and because they jut out of the shoe a little bit, sometimes you notice them. There have been a couple times I've scraped them, walked too close to something and sink. Minor things, but if I'm trying to be nitpicky, that's what I'm going to look for. Well, let's get back on the bike and we'll discuss how they feel when you're riding, which to some people might be the most important part of riding shoes. Go figure. So of course one of the main important things about a riding shoe is going to be, how does it feel when you're riding? Walking is great, but how does it feel when you're riding? Well, very, very good, actually. These have stiffer soles, so I was worried about flexibility. Because I didn't want to feel like I had lost touch with the bike. But I can very clearly feel my pegs under me. I can feel where they end, I can feel where they start.
I know for 100% certain that I am on my peg. They also have enough grip that when I'm maneuvering, I've got a good base to rotate my foot on. But there's not so little feeling as to not be able to tell that I'm rotating. Or be able to, like, you know, worry about, am I at the end of the peg and I'm going to fall off of it? One of the things I was concerned about was whether or not they were going to be hard enough to protect my foot from the shifter. Now, my shifter isn't like super spiky or anything ridiculous like that. But what I mean is, quite often when you're riding, you're quickly kicking this metal bar with your foot. Like that. Now, one of the reasons, besides of course the general safety thing of, you know, no ankle protection, no real protection, period. But one of the reasons I won't wear my Chuck Taylors ever on a motorcycle is because of that. Chuck Taylors are basically just a piece of canvas over your foot, and you go to kick that, and it kind of hurts, to be honest. I did it a couple times when I was young and dumb, but that taught me real quickly, like, don't do that. But with the shoe being as comfortable as it is, how much protection does it offer me for my shifting? Quite a lot, actually, which again I'm very grateful for. And there's definitely something to be said about having these shoes be armored, and at least the mental consideration that you're safer. Let's face it, motorcycle riding is inherently dangerous. We all know this. I know this. And you do want to take as many precautions as possible to be safer, basically without riding around in a suit of armor. Because I don't want to do that. So even if it's kind of a false sense of security, it's still nice to have that security. Even that just kind of peace of mind type of thing. But they're comfortable. They really are. With all the armor and everything, they're not uncomfortable to wear riding. They've got a good amount of spring in them, so I don't feel like I'm like, A, either hooked into my bike, or B, like I'm like, you know, sitting on hard plates on it. I can very clearly feel my brake pedal right now as I'm braking. I can tell how much I'm giving it, so I don't have to worry about accidentally giving it too much and locking my back tire. I can feel my shifter very well, and it protects me from the upshift. And since I am riding a sport bike, and basically only the balls and toes of my feet are on my pegs at any time, it means that the rest of my foot is kind of bent a little bit. Even with the armor, there isn't any uncomfortable little folds at this angle that would catch it and kind of like make a pinching effect. So I was a little concerned about that. That being said, I mean, I wouldn't necessarily suggest wearing these if you're like, you know, gonna be doing a lot of kneeling and bending your feet in those positions. Like, not all day, you know. At work, I spend a lot of time kneeling down, get things off the shelves and whatnot, and I wouldn't wear these all day for that. That would become very tiresome and frankly would hurt my foot after a while. But for riding, man, it's comfortable. I mean, you can see, maybe you can't see, you know, slight bend in the foot, no uncomfortable pinch. So now I'm going to throw it back to the studio. I kind of wanted to say that. And I'll finish up the video there.
So, overall reaction to this. My overall review to these speed biker motorcycle riding shoes that I got $27 off of Wish. I suggest them. So, they're good quality, they don't feel cheap. I've been wearing them around for, you know, quite a bit, and there's not that much wear on them. You know, they're comfortable, I can walk in them, I can ride in them, everything I wanted. And like I said, they're cheap. It's always a high point for me. I'm gonna buy the boots. Not sure when, but I will. I'm definitely gonna buy the boots from the same company because as a tester, these gave me a good idea. The one thing that should be noted is that their sizing is a little weird, but luckily there's a sizing chart. So if you're gonna buy the boots, you're gonna need an actual ruler to measure your foot. Not that big a deal, really. That's gonna do it for me for this video. I hope you guys have enjoyed. I hope maybe you learned something. You don't have to spend a lot of money to get something of good quality. If you guys like this review, let me know down in the comments, and maybe I'll do some more reviews in the future. It's my first one. Go figure. Thank you all for watching. Please, if you're not already subscribed, hit the notification bell so you get notified when I upload a new video. And follow the social media links down in the description. And until next time, y'all have a good day. Keep rocking and rolling. Keep taking care of business. I'll see you in the next one.